take this out.
Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Creator Scenes, the Small Creator Journey. Boy, have I got a big, fat video coming out for you guys, the longest I've ever done to date. It's almost 2 hours long, but it covers everything from the beginning of the journey for a small creator, what to do, how to navigate YouTube, and most importantly, how to get your channel from nothingness to getting it above the monetization threshold, and more importantly, getting established and getting your foothold and get up into actually being a top creator per YouTube's policies, which is that 10,000 and above sub marker. Oh boy. I mean, most of the people at home are just probably worried about getting over the 1,000 for that point, and so was I. But that video is coming out of how I not only got past that, qualified for monetization, but I'm actually rounding the corner right now to being a top creator per YouTube's policy. I'm about to cross 10,000 in probably the next couple of weeks. Whoa, right now I'm at 9,163 subscribers, which per YouTube's metrics puts my channel at about the top 4.5% of all regularly content producing channels, which equals to be roughly about 60 million channels all across all of YouTube that are active as of right now in 2025 and actively posting content, which YouTube identifies that as putting at least one piece of content every single month on a consistent basis. Now, out of all active channels, which means that they do exist, they're active, somebody's behind them, they're not been abandoned, and maybe they post every now and again, it's about 115 million. But regularly producing actual content creators, actual content channels are about 60 million. That gives us a kind of a rough estimate to have some proportions here. So it's really hard to come up from nowhere, behind the scenes, out of the shadows, out of the ashes, wherever you're coming from, to get over that 1,000, that magic 1,000 number in terms of subscribers. But once you do, you're basically joining the ranks of essentially the top 10% of all active and consistently posting YouTube channels. And that's what that big ass video covers, is the whole journey all the way through, all the way up to now, essentially. And it covers a lot of detail, and most importantly gives you my off the ground, what I've learned, what I actually tried, and what actually works, systems that actually help you to get off the ground, and legitimately so. The stuff that the big guru channels kind of avoid. Although we do address some of what the big guru channels have covered and really dissect what works and what doesn't work and why. But most importantly, I give you that really big secret that I found that has launched me well over monetization, well up into 2,000. And since that point on, I've been consistently growing about 170 to 200 something subscribers every week, just about. Sometimes more, sometimes a little less. That's been about the average. From when I started back in March 2025 this year to when I rebranded to the Fuzzy Fixer back in May 2025, I am now at September 17th, 2025, 9,163 subscribers, which officially puts me in the top 4.8% of all channels that are actively producing content. Once I cross 10,000, that puts us into the top 3% of all content producing channels that do it on a regular basis. That's kind of mind-boggling, isn't it? But anyway, catch that video. It's going to tell you everything you need to know from the actual small creator's perspective, somebody who's doing it right now in 2025, started in 2025, started with absolute zero. I never shot a home video before. Seriously, I never have. I never was interested in it. I never did. But then I got interested in it over the last several years. Still never did, because I just didn't trust my skill. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do it. And then off the cuff, on March 18th, I ran up to the shop, shot my first video on the cell phone, and it started going places. And I just kept on it ever since. Not just that, but I started with zero experience with videography, lighting, sound, especially metadata and editing. I didn't know about any of that. I had to learn everything on the way, true ground up, as a 40-year-old, doing it in 2025 from scratch, zero experience, and that's what I cover in that big ass video. And I've been learning a ton ever since. Well, as you may notice, some of my content has changed over time. It's gotten better videography, better quality, better sound, better everything. In order to do that, I've had to actually invest a little bit into some basic camera equipment. What I'm being filmed on right now, which you guys are seeing me on, is a GoPro Hero, just the very standard, small size, very compact one. Great camera. I'm going to give a review on it. I'll need a second camera in order to do that, but I'll give a review on that. And right now I have you guys on my lavalier wireless microphone with the wireless adapter. And I also have you guys right now on a kind of a clip magnetic base platform for the GoPro. And of course I've been using this collapsible selfie stick slash highly adjustable multi-axis tripod. But this is what actually brings me to today's video. So when you invest in equipment, you have to make it really worth your while, monetarily, functionality wise, everything. Now this equipment is not hyper expensive. It does cost a pretty penny, don't get me wrong, but it's not that terribly expensive. It's not a Sony, it's not an Nikon, it's not any of that, and it's not the most expensive GoPro either. But nonetheless, you want to protect your investment. Cameras aren't cheap, SD cards aren't cheap. This stuff ain't cheap. This was $60, this guy. I mean, granted, I love it, it does a great job, but $60. The camera itself is like $400. The mics and everything, those are the cheapest part altogether. But even then, that's still money that I invested in the channel. So I want to protect it. So that's what brings me to the Fuzzy Fixer, absolute warehouse of happiness, Harbor Freight Tools. Good old Harbor Freight. And today I went up and picked out a nice hard shell case with adjustable foam inside, dual layered, to be able to store all my camera gear in one spot, because otherwise I'm just stuffing it in my pockets and carrying it left to right, misplacing stuff. That's not something I don't want to do, and I don't want to break my stuff either. So hard shell with foam inserts is going to protect it beautifully. And Harbor Freight has a fantastic deal on the Apache brand. Now this is the 2800 Apache in bright orange. I got orange so I cannot misplace the sucker, because Lord knows if you watch any of my shop videos, the gremlins just take everything. Now they have a few different sizes. They got your 1800, which is a very, very small, like almost like a little pencil box kind of thing. Great for slipping into a backpack, into pretty much anywhere, everywhere, center console of your vehicle, wherever you want to go. Very compact, very easy to carry with you, but small. It limits you on what you can put in there. And I could probably get it to work and get it to fit with all the equipment that I have now, but that leaves me no room to grow into it. I wanted to get a case that's kind of walks that line between big enough to carry everything comfortably, but still small enough to be compactable and carryable, yet allows me room to grow. Because as the channel grows, I want to invest in another camera to get different angle shots. I've been having to do it with just one camera, which is a pain in the butt. I want to invest in different technology and different things to bring you guys better and better content every single time. That's what brought me here. For $29, excluding tax, about 30 something, 36 with tax and everything, we got ourselves the Apache 2800. That's the next step up from the tiny pencil box. It gives you about this big of a thing, about a lunchbox size. It gives you dual layers inside of here. So you got two levels of fully adjustable foam that you cut out as blocks, foamed up top, foam down below, watertight, weather-tight seal, dust-tight seal, lockable, bleed valve, air valve that you can keep it watertight or bleed anything off that condenses inside, and of course lockable as well too. Good size, high visibility. Comes in black, comes in desert camo brown kind of thing, and of course it comes in bright hunter's orange. And what we're going to be doing today is, well, we got to fit our camera gear, at least the ones that I brought with me, which are the mics, my kind of multi-use, three-function kind of stand, stick, tripod thingy, the camera itself, the camera base, and we'll fit the rest of it as we get home, because the rest is at home right now. But I'm going to show you guys kind of what you can get for about 30 bucks at Harbor Freight, and how you can set it up for you guys yourselves at home as small creators that are up and coming, especially when you want to invest into something that's more than just your phone. Your phone is great to start with. Don't get me wrong, you can do a lot with your phone. You don't need fancy camera gear. But there does come a certain point in your journey as a small creator where the phone just doesn't cut it anymore. Because people who are on YouTube are not like, they're not about the TikTok vibe. Matter of fact, they may be even anti-TikTok for that matter. Fresh off the phone, limited to no editing, that kind of film it, throw it up there, is great for TikTok. The crowd likes it there. Here on YouTube, they may understand and may like it if you're a few hundred subs or something like that. When you start getting more of a platform and more traction, more of an audience, they expect a lot more of you. YouTube is a place where they really look at not just content quality, not just the content topic, but also the quality of your video production itself. So they're gonna expect you to get some actual camera gear, some actual mics, some actual audio, some actual editing, and really step up your game if you're really ever gonna get up into that top creator realm. And they're more than happy to support you in that process in terms of giving you their views and their supports and their engagement. but you got to do your end as a creator as well too. And that's what I ended up doing. But we got to, like I said, protect our equipment. So this is what you guys can do when you cross that line and decide to invest in the actual gear, how you can protect it, keep it all in one place, and do it still on a good tight budget. It's not the most expensive stuff I have, but it's not cheap either, and you don't want to lose it, you don't want to mess it up, you don't want to have to start all over again. Last thing you want to do is reinvest all that money, especially before your channel is monetized. That's not fun. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. So let's go ahead and get you guys set up. We'll get this set up, we'll start cutting, we'll start mounting in our stuff, and we'll see how everything kind of fits into the game here. So now that I got you guys set up there in kind of an overhead kind of fashion, I can go ahead and show you the box here. So of course you got your foam here, you got your dual foam insert, so it lets you do 2 layers of storage, or 1 really thick layer if you have a bigger object, and of course your foam liner underneath over here. Very, very useful. Not bad for only 30 bucks. I've been kind of playing around a little bit with it because I wasn't sure what size to get for all my equipment, but this looks like to be the right balance between compactability, carryability, and something I can grow into and fit all my gear in. Very, very simple thing to do. All you do is with this, you have these kind of blocks that are almost pre-cut but not all the way through. You're gonna go ahead and measure out how big you need and just cut these blocks out. Very, very simple. You could cut them shallow depth if you want to store something just shallowly in there. Give it a little more cushion, which I might do for the camera itself. And of course you can go full depth and go all the way through the layer and have it supporting the other layer underneath. So I think for the heavier stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and put these on the second layer, the bottom layer. I already got it mapped out here for my tripod 3-in-1 kind of useful thing here. And that's what I'm gonna store down here. Very, very simply, just measure it out and then you just kind of cut along. So that's what I've been doing here, is just kind of cutting along, and now I'm about to cut all the way through. Because this one is kind of fat, so I'm going to go full depth on it. Just need a relatively sharp knife. Even a sharp little pocket knife like a Leatherman will do just fine for this kind of application. I think I need to go, yeah, all the way out here is what I meant it to. There we go. And there you go. Just remove the block, set her back in, and we'll go ahead and seat her in, see how she fits. And then of course we'll make any adjustments as needed. Oh, perfect. Almost looks like it was made for it. And now it's deep enough where I could put the second layer over the top, be able to put the camera up top here, the SD cards, the swivel bases, everything else that I need to access quickly. And then the clip and everything else is going to go down here. Everything else that's heavy, any other bases and everything else right here, up top here. Camera itself, maybe the second camera when I get it. And I'll make some slots for the SD cards too. And of course my mics and everything else will go up on top here. Great, so now let's go ahead and measure out. I'm gonna, how am I gonna do that here? Because I need the base, which you guys are on right now, in order to measure it. All right, well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do the old finger measure test here. So we got about 2.5 knuckles, and we got about 1.5 knuckles width. All right, that should be good enough. I mean, after all, we're the fuzzy fixer. We don't need to be perfect. Perfection is for squares. Speaking of squares, that's what we're going to do now, is cut our squares. To about there. To about right here. And they're, I think I didn't see how far apart are these guys here. They're done at very nice tight increments, so it gives you a lot of options. It doesn't say. They look like each square is about 1/4 of an inch in all dimensions. Now it's good. It gives you about 1/4 of an inch kind of increments to measure out on. Very, very useful. I'm going to go back a little bit further here because I actually want this to be a little bit separated. To about there. And then we got to go up to be about right here. All right, like that. Cut across there. We'll go from here, got 1.5 knuckles, to about right here. About right there. Which gives us that block right here. Super easy to measure things out. Go ahead and score it and measure it. Of course, you can do with a pen first if you like. I don't have a pen that really works well for this kind of material, so I'm just going to do it. The kind of just cut first and ask questions later kind of methodology. There we go. All right, now we're going to lift this up so I can cut in a little bit deeper. for now, so I can cut all the way down. Now we're filming right here just in the parking lot. That way by the time I get home I can go ahead and edit. Make my life a little more efficient. Being a small creator while doing an 8 to 5 job is all about maximizing your time and making the whole process of content creation as efficient and as enjoyable as possible. If you stress yourself out too much to try to keep up a certain schedule, you're just not going to enjoy the process. And then what's the point really of being a creator? Now this one I kind of want to seat maybe on its side would be best. Maybe on its side might be best. So in that case then I'll just leave it like this and put it directly into a side, and gives plenty of cushion between the two pieces here. Good. All right. So we got bases done now. Now let's go ahead. I'm going to cut the kind of those other little bases. Those kind of like swivel bases that kind of latch onto the base of the GoPro there. I'm going to cut those out. So I need to make it long enough for that kind of thumb screw, knurled screw there. Base out to about there. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm going to seat these flat across. Let's go about there. On that end there. I'm going to go a little bit further for the thumb screw. And I'll come in for the rest of the base. And down kind of like that. There we go. Kind of get it mapped out here. That looks to be about kind of the right size. Take this guy out again. What I'll do for the final scene here, so once I get this all kind of cut out, is I'm going to unmount the camera and just hold you guys in hand. That way I can kind of show you how everything looks like once it's packed in there. There we go. Good. Got that part done there. Good. That's done. That's done there. Let's see, is that going to be wide enough? That might not be wide enough. I may have to go one more block across here. Let's see. Also, this stuff compresses pretty good, so you don't have to be too big of a piece. Actually, no, I want it to fit sideways. Yeah, so I think that's how I'm going to do it there. That should go into there, and then I can pack almost 2 on top, just about. Perfect. Good. That part is done now. Now we're going to have to somehow measure out the camera itself. We also got to measure out the mics and that mic adapter as well too. So I need to get then kind of a place to put the wired mic, which I might do back here, I think. That one I'm going to kind of cut just kind of a big rectangle, and then I can loop the cable around inside there. Not too tight so that way the cable doesn't get too kinked up or something. Because the wired Wiseman mic is a better quality mic because it is wired. Wired will always give you better quality, and of course it's cheaper to purchase. But it's also more of a pain in the butt because then you're kind of literally tied up. So it makes it harder to do some of this DIY style content. Probably more for my commentary corner would be a little bit better to do the wired mic because it's a lot more windproof, doesn't pick up some surrounding noises quite so much, and it's just a better audio quality. There we go. Of course I don't have it with me here, it's at home, so I'm gonna have to kind of show you how everything looks like. And then this way I can keep my camera gear at hand, nice and safe, nice and organized. And of course I always know where all my camera gear is at all times. That way I can just keep the camera as it is now in quick deploy setup, and then keep the rest of it all at hand in case I do interviews or other things, because there's more stuff coming on this channel, like interviews and all kinds of cool stuff. So stay tuned because we got a lot of cool things coming up. Anyway, so that's going to be the wired mic there. I do want to put the camera kind of more or less in the center so it gets the most kind of support. Actually, if I do kind of like this, then I can have 2 cameras kind of next to each other. So I'm going to do the GoPro kind of about here. Let's go ahead and measure the GoPro out. So we got about 2 knuckles on this GoPro. Just about 2 knuckles, almost 2 knuckles. Okay. And how about this way? 1 knuckle. So if we go 2 knuckles out, and then we can seat it in standing up. So we go about, I would say about 2 knuckles. Let's go about here to there. Okay, about right there. Good, and that gives the 2-knuckle mark right there. And then that goes just about right here. Alright, good. We'll go about there. And then we go straight across this way. I may have cut just a wee bit too tight. Did I? Nope, I'm alright. Excellent. Now pull this guy out again. I pull it out so that way I can cut more cleanly. Not accidentally cut into the other layer underneath as much. That way I can kind of protect and preserve everything. There we go. There we go. And then now we just got to get all the way through. There we go. Bada bing. Bada bing, bada bang. GoPro number 1, right there. And that looks to be able to fit up the GoPro just about right. Might have to dip down into the second one there, but it will compress is just the same anyway, so that would probably be just fine. All right, so now we need to go this guy, which is about 1 block wide, and we need to go about 4 knuckles out. Now what I'm going to put here on the side here, I think it'll be just fine. So let's go from about here. Might go up there. Good, that looks just about right actually. All right, good deal. Now I got to do the receiver for the wireless mic. Now that one looks like it could be also kind of half and half. How long is that guy? That guy's about 2 knuckles long plus the connector piece. Let's go about 2 knuckles long. There we go. Receiver goes there. Mic adapter goes there. Wired can go here. GoPro go there. Now I'm going to take the mic off just temporarily and kind of measure the mic out. And I have this wireless one with the cat head on it. Hello, kitty. That one's going to be about right here. That's going to be about what? About that for the base. Okay. Okay. That'll be about here. Okay. So we got that part done. And the cat head can kind of compress a little bit, but I don't want to squish my cat head here. So I'm going to go out just a wee bit here. Kind of like that. Kind of in a T shape kind of thing. Well, yeah, it's like eating a squirrel tail there. It's a bit windy of a day, so I have to carry the mic a little bit tighter to the to where I'm actually speaking out of, i.e. my mouth. That way it doesn't pick up so much background noise. And there you go. It's not that complicated of a process. You just got to go work your way around. You know, don't worry about getting it exactly right 100%. You can always go back and cut more if you need to. The beauty about these things is you can cut some extra blocks out and kind of stuff it back in there if you made it too heavy, too big. There you go, kind of a little bit of a angle cut there. Let's go ahead and measure that guy out, see how that looks. Oh, look at that, perfection. Seats in there just nice. Could almost set the other mic right on top. Perfect, look at that. All right, so now the next one is just with the normal mic head on it. The wired mic has the other cat head. So that one probably can just cut right next to here. That one could just be just a normal sized kind of mic there. Let's cut to about the same here. And this one doesn't need to sit so fat in there, so I'm going to try to transect these blocks kind of midway down. It doesn't sit so low in there, because without the cat head it doesn't need to sit so low. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Good. Perfect. There we go. Wired. GoPro. GoPro may have to go a little deeper. We'll see. The mic adapter into the actual GoPro itself. The actual receiver for the wireless. And then here we go. The base goes here. The mounting kind of platform goes in here. And then the big guy goes in there. And then we got plenty of space for extra equipment. Boom. Look at that. Easy peasy. Took what, like 5 minutes to do? No, maybe not quite, but it took just a few minutes. Super easy to do. There you go. Took only a few minutes to do. We got everything cut up and ready. Everything is just going to be super easy to put in there, take in and out. Everything is going to be nice and safe, right there at hand every time you need it. Can keep the camera kind of in quick deploy mode when I have it in my bag or my pocket. but then I can have everything else right there at hand in the truck or wherever else I'm filming. Dust protected, water protected. Yeah, this was a good bet. 2,800 for 30 bucks, best bet. Perfect case. You just need one and you could grow into it as a small creator. It gives you plenty of edit space that you're going to need. Anyway, let's start fitting in some pieces there and see how she looks. All right, so as you guys seen, the first one goes in there pretty nice. Nice and tight, just like that. All right, let me take the camera off the base here. And then here's the clip base with the magnet on it. Let's see how that guy goes in there. Beautiful. Let's see. I need to make an adjustment there. No, that fits in perfectly. Look at that. Fits right in there. Good. All right, let's go ahead and do the second layer here. All right, now I'm gonna have to disconnect the mic, so we're gonna be only on camera audio for a sec here, but that's gonna be okay. Here we go. So here's the adapter piece. Yeah, that one may actually have to come out just a wee bit more to be able to fit that in. So see a couple of blocks more right there, and then out there one more. Okay, let's go ahead and cut that guy. Alrighty, well anyway, sorry about that. I had to put the camera down because obviously the base cell is in there now. So here we go. Here's the mic adapter. Oh, perfection. Look at that. Here is the wireless receiver. Perfect. And here is the cat-headed mic. Boom. Look at that. And then, of course, the non-cat-headed one is going to go in here. Maybe a little bit big, but that's okay. It's not going to bounce around. It's also got edit cushion on there. And then, of course, the wireless, or the wired one, is going to coil here. And then, of course, GoPro will seat, well, right in here. Just like that. Ta-da. Perfection. Haha. Look at that. Check this out. Boom. Lock, lock, grab, and go. You're all set. Apache 2800 at Harbor Fratté. Oh boy, what a way. All right, well, there you guys have it. Well, the sun is setting. We better get back to the homestead and get ready for tomorrow and do some editing now. But there you guys go. I'm just going to put this here for right now, because it falls down in there right on top of that thing. I may have to do some adjustments there, maybe a little bit. But may just add a little extra foam down there, who knows. But anyway, everything looks good. Seems to work great. Mic adapters right there. Got the wireless receiver right here. Gonna put that there for right now. GoPro fits snugly right down in there, perfect. Not too tall, not too deep. Wired mic can go here. And then of course we got our bases down there. And there you go, just perfect. For 30 bucks, what do you guys think? Is this a great way or what to be able to get into becoming a more higher quality content creator YouTube channel? Not just a poster, not just a little channel. This will help you get into the big boy leagues and get to not only above monetization, but get above the 10,000 mark and be the top 3% in the top creator realm for YouTube. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, follow for more. Don't forget to catch that big ass video when it comes out. It goes into way more detail, and there's going to be plenty more coming that teach you guys editing, how to format GoPros, you name it. It's going to cover everything in the best budget, easiest way possible, so you all can at home become successful content creators yourselves and follow your dream. It is quite a dream. I'm still, head is still spinning with it. It's amazing, and I want you guys to have that as well too. Anyway, the Fuzzy Fixer. I'll see you all on the next episode.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy.